Hi everyone, my name is Marie and I am starting to do a video blog about my experience with parotid tumor. In my research, I found several of the YouTube videos from others that had done a vlog on their experience, very helpful. And I don't know if mine's going to be any different from theirs, but I think the more that you can look at and get a feel for what happened to others, gives you some sense of comfort in knowing relatively what to expect. So a little bit of background here. I had a dental abscess back in April of this year, of 2016, that was causing me problems, and I had to go to the dentist, and it uncovered something that I had been ignoring for a very long time. Back in roughly 2008, I noticed a lump on the side of my neck, underneath my ear. It was relatively large even then, but I was too scared to even go get it checked out, which is typical of how I handle my medical issues. If I'm scared, I pretend they don't exist. And in this case, I went in for the dental abscess, and it was my lower molar, one of my lower molars, which was very, very close to where this lump was. So I didn't know if it was related, if this lump had caused this dental abscess or any of that, but I knew I was about to have to face finding out what this lump was. Because of this dental abscess. The dentist had pulled the tooth where the abscess was, and found that the infection had went below my jawbone into the submandibular space, however you pronounce that, which is basically your neck right here. It had went into my neck, and it was starting to block my airway. I was having a really hard time swallowing, very, very painful, and he sent me right to the ER. When I got to the ER, they too were very concerned. They did a CT scan and saw the abscess, knew it had to be drained, but they had to transfer me to a different hospital to do that. So I was being sent over to another hospital to get that dealt with. On a side note, that abscess actually burst into my mouth, oddly enough, and drained on its own. So by the time I got to the other hospital, I mean, they were ready to take me into surgery to drain it that way, and it had burst and drained essentially on its own. Very unusual, very lucky. So I had that to deal with. When I was released from the hospital, I was in ICU for a day and had to stay for another day while they gave me antibiotics through the IV. And I was released shortly thereafter, towards the end of April, and I had a follow-up visit with the ENT. And I knew when I went to go see him that he was going to discover this lump that I had been avoiding, in denial about, since 2008. And I felt it was just time that, I needed to face whatever it was and get it handled. So sure enough, I went for my after visit summary, or visit with him, and he felt it and asked if it had been there before the abscess, and I admitted it had. It had been there for quite a while. He told me it needed to be biopsied, and I had scheduled that. So I scheduled the biopsy. Just before we go any further, I'll just show you what the tumor looks like. It's right here, as you can see. I don't know if you can get a good look, but it's very large. It's actually over 5 centimeters, and there's two. It turns out that there's two of them, kind of right on top of each other, but collectively together they're over 5 centimeters, which is quite large. Anyhow, went back for the biopsy. Biopsy was really not all, nothing really to be worried about. They numb you up, they put a needle in. In my case, they had to stick, they took 5 different aspirations, 5 needle aspirations into the tumors, because it was large and they wanted to, get in different sections of it. They took, 5 aspirations with a needle, and I was sore the next day and bruised on my neck from, being poked, but I'm a huge chicken, huge chicken when it comes to anything medical, and it really wasn't that bad. And for me to say that, it really wasn't that bad. My husband was there with me, and, I just kind of squeezed his hand, and, not a terrible experience, probably lasted in total maybe 10 minutes. Again, not bad at all. However, the results came back inconclusive, with a lot of other mumbo-jumbo in there about anacytic cells and things along those lines. So when I read the test results before I had heard from my doctor, he was out of town, I saw anacytic cells and thought right away I had, it was cancerous. So I thought I had cancer, that this tumor was malignant, for several days, I think 4 days, before I actually talked to the doctor, who said, no, we don't know it yet, it's inconclusive, and from what I can tell, from what I read and what I see, I think it's a Warthins tumor, and which is, Warthins tumor located in the parotid gland, which most of those are benign, but we won't know until we take it out, and we need to take it out. They don't like to leave any lumps or bumps in the head or neck, because it can change down the road. So needless to say, my surgery is scheduled for next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Today is Saturday, and I have it on August 31st on Wednesday. So time is ticking. Very nervous. I'm very nervous. More so about anesthetic than the actual surgery. I think I've done enough research and watched enough video and read enough articles to be very well versed and comfortable with what's going to happen with surgery. But anesthetic scares me. Will you wake up? I always have. I've had several surgeries and I've always woken up, but I'm getting older, and you never know. But I plan to do a video, right before surgery, at every critical milestone. Before surgery, I'm going to have my husband do some video in recovery. I'll do some video the day of surgery, assuming that there were no complications and I'm able to do that. And then, kind of cover my recovery as we go along. And I hope it helps some of you out there. If you have some questions now that I may be able to answer, feel free to, question below, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. But at this point, I'm looking forward to getting them removed, and certainly knowing whether they're cancerous or not. Crossing my fingers that they're not, that they're benign, and once they're out, that they don't return or anything similar return. Because I do have some other surgeries in the line. If I'm going to get this one done, I might as well start tackling them all. But again, hoping that my journey and experience with a Warthins tumor, a parotid tumor, helps you if, regardless of what stage you're at in dealing with it. So again, ask me any questions if you have any, and follow along and see how it goes for me if you're interested. Thanks. Bye.